Greetings, fellow gamers. This is darkfireslide, and today I have a very special video that I am excited to announce. We are looking at the Battle for Middle-earth Online Edition. So, what is this and why should you care? So, let's talk about the history of this game for a little bit. So, the Battle for Middle-earth is a game that was released in 2004 by Electronic Arts. Back when EA used to actually make good games, when such a time existed. Anyway, this game is pretty awesome. So, what is the Battle for Middle-earth? It is a real-time strategy game that incorporates a lot of elements of games that would later become also massively successful. The game was pretty popular for its time and retained a dedicated fan base, one of whom actually managed to create the version that we're currently looking at, which is the online edition. And the online edition is important because it uses community servers to allow people to still play online, which is really cool. And if you watch this video and you want to see, and you want to play this for yourself, even if you just want to play the single player, because this game does have a pretty good single player campaign, since good RTS campaigns used to be a staple of the genre, you can also just download this for that, and I highly recommend doing so because it's a good experience, and especially if you're a Lord of the Rings fan and you haven't played this game, you are definitely missing out. So all that being said, let's talk about why you can't get this game and why you have to get the online edition. So basically, and by the way, I'm going to leave a link in the description of the video where I found out how to install this and where to get it from, and so you can do it yourself if you feel so inclined. So anyway, the reason that this game is not available for purchase anymore is basically because it got locked into copyright hell, as I'm going to call it. And I don't use the term lightly because, hell is a very bad place in the Christian understanding of it. And the reason that I say that about this game is because of how copyrights work for game producers, basically. So when game publishers buy the rights to a franchise, they basically only rent it out. They only buy the copyright for a limited number, like a limited amount of time, or even just for like a singular game to release and then sell on the market. And because this game was made back in 2004, this is before digital storefronts really became popular, before Steam really was that big, and so as a result, this game is, just you cannot get it legally anymore, except and by legally I mean like actually buy a copy of it, because it is not for sale online anywhere, and neither is its sequel. And to actually install these games, you have to do several bypasses and things like that. Like CD key checkers and things of that nature, and just to get it running. Because it was made forever ago, and there's no way to get it on a digital storefront. And the reason for that is because by the time that EA created Origin, they had already lost the rights to this game. And so basically what would have to happen is that EA would have to repurchase the rights to publish this from basically from New Line Cinema, from Peter Jackson. So obviously that's not going to happen because it's too much work and it's too much money for what may not be that big of a return. But thankfully for us, the gamers, this version of the game exists, and I have confirmed it does have functioning multiplayer, and there's apparently a Discord server and everything on their community at t3aonline.net, which I will provide a link for in the description as well, and you can see for yourself. Now, I'm sorry it's taken me 4 minutes to talk about this game, but we're finally going to get into some gameplay. We're just going to play a skirmish match just so I can show you what this game is all about and have some fun with it, because this game does some very cool things and ideas that would become prominent in later games. And let's go ahead and get into it. So we are going to play as the nation, if you want to call it, the faction, probably is better, of Mordor. In the original Battle for Middle-earth, this game, there are 4 factions to pick from. There's Rohan, which is sort of this horse-centric, hero-centric team. Now, for those of you who've seen the movies, this is going to be like really obvious, like what this is. So really, when I'm explaining these teams, it's more for people who haven't somehow seen Lord of the Rings or maybe don't remember. Gondor is more of your typical Western knightly civilization with a lot of really good, just really solid all-around units and a really strong castle to defend from, and very defensive faction overall, but a very good faction. Isengard relies on troops that are similar in quality to Gondor's troops, are sometimes arguably better. And is kind of the quality approach to the bad guy team, and Mordor is the sort of horde approach to the bad guy team. And of Rohan and Gondor, Rohan is definitely more of the quantity styled team, and Gondor is more of the quality styled team. But all of that being said, let's look at the game. So we have all these different maps that we can pick from, and I'll go ahead and pick Andrast here that we'll play as. And it's important to note that I haven't played this game that much yet, but there is a skirmish ranking system, which is like it doesn't actually do anything, but it's nice to feel like vindicated after like you get to a certain level and things get to that. Now, another thing is, I don't have the music on because all of the music in this game is copyright from the films, so I want to be able to monetize this video still, but I can't do that if it's not monetized, so I apologize for the lack of music. But there's going to be sound in the battle, so let's go ahead and get into it. So we are fighting a medium team here, and I'm going to attempt to keep the commentary running as best I can while explaining the game and its mechanics. So as we can see, bases in this have a very modular approach to it. So there are all these different slots and stuff that really it simplifies base building, which is something that a lot of people don't like about this game. But for me, I personally don't mind it that much. I could take it or leave it, right? Like I like being able to build my own base, but I also appreciate the way that this game does it because it's very quick to do it. Now, one problem with RTS that had plagued the genre up to this point, that makers of RTS wanted to kind of fix, is that there wasn't really a reason to get outside of your base or bases, and actually like play the map and things of that nature. So this game, along with the game Dawn of War, I think Dawn of War may have come out before this, the original Warhammer 40k Dawn of War may have come out before this. So correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't looked up the release date of Dawn of War, the original. So I could be wrong about that. But anyway, one way or the other, these games sort of borrowed from each other in that aspect of, let's make people actually get out into the map and explore it instead of just camping in their bases all the time. And personally, I'm a big fan of this approach. I really like the ability to like actually go out and play. Now, this game definitely borrowed from Warcraft 3 a little bit. As you can see, there are creep camps scattered throughout the map with various enemies and things of that nature. And after you kill them and clear them, there's a bunch of gold in their camp that you can get access to, just as a reward, a little bit of goodies for your hard work. Now, currently, we're trying to get our economy up and running as Mordor. I admit that I have read a couple of guides because this game actually did have for a while, not necessarily like a competitive scene, but people did play online games, and there was a metagame, if you can believe it. So it's just another incentive to keep playing. Now, one thing that's cool about Mordor as a faction is you get your basic orc units for free. So these are completely free, which is pretty cool. Looks like we've got more wargs up here, which are these kind of wolf-looking creatures. Now I know. Those of you who are like fans of Lord of the Rings are definitely going to be like, please stop like insulting my intelligence with this talk of like orcs and wargs and all the things that I already know. Please just tell me about this video game, and I plan to tell you. We just gotta get some units up and running. So we needed to train some archers because this game does use a system of unit counters, which is fine. And one byproduct of that is that you need to have certain units to do certain jobs. And one unit that counters other units is like one unit that counters other units, as you might imagine from a game built around unit counters. Orc archers, for example, and archers in general tend to be good against things like monsters. So like wargs, for example. Now the enemy team, the Gondor player, the Gondor AI player, tried to basically steal this camp from us, but we put an end to that. It looks like one of the wargs is still alive though, so let's go ahead and finish that off real quick. And now one thing we're going to do is one thing you can actually do in this game is you can merge like warriors and archers. And this is really useful, as you might imagine, because it allows you to actually get a like defend your archers, and then the archers also get like a damage bonus while this is happening. Now I'm letting a lot of resources float, and that's partially because doing commentary and playing at the same time, it is harder to remember things like build orders. So forgive me if I've erred a little bit. Now, because we're fighting against Gondor, we're also going to need a great siege works, and at the moment our economy is doing pretty great, but we need more forces in order to actually be able to compete. And so not building this troll cage in time may actually hurt me quite a bit. At the very least, it's probably going to cost us this lumber camp here. Now, one thing we've done here is we've summoned the Eye of Sauron because using it will actually increase the damage of our troops, in addition to increasing the amount of experience they get while they're fighting. All right, now as we can see, we are getting a bit outnumbered here. We do need to start training some trolls, which are very, very powerful units. But for the time being, we just need to be really defensive. We are going to pick up, however, this additional PowerPoint, and that's another thing I haven't even really talked about here. Is we've got this PowerPoint system that, for those of you who have played Company of Heroes, the original, will be very, very familiar. It's definitely very, very reminiscent of the system in that game. Now, one thing that's pretty cool as well in this game is that buildings level up as you use them or train units from them. So, for example, as you can see, our orc pit here is almost leveled up, and when it levels up, it trains units faster, and so it gets better at doing what it's supposed to do. Now, one thing we're going to do here is we're going to murder some of our own orcs using this bloodthirsty ability to give our because this orc already has some experience. We're going to we're going to kill these other orcs. Now, the normal orc battalion or squad, whatever you want to call it, they, they don't. I'm trying to figure out. So they're free is the thing. So it's not actually like that crippling of a loss to kill them when it gives me a little bit of unit veterancy. And veterancy is very important in this game because at veterancy rank 2, units actually start to regenerate. Now we've got these trolls up now, and this is important for us because it's definitely going to give us a big advantage. And we're also going to start focusing on things like getting catapults up. And as you can see, we got these trolls here. They're just beating the shit out of their enemies. No problem whatsoever. And it looks like in response, our enemy is building a lot of archers. That could be problematic for us, but without any units to defend their archers, the trolls can actually get up there and just beat the tar out of them. Now, one thing we definitely want to make sure is that we're always training orcs or orc archers, because not only is that going to level up our building more, it's also going to allow us to have additional benefits otherwise. For example, trolls can eat orcs to get their health back, which, as you might imagine, is very useful because, like with veterancy, trolls do not regenerate unless they are at least rank 2. And so it's very important to get these units to rank 2 in order to actually take advantage of that bonus, so to speak. We're going to go ahead and blow up their farm that they built over the corpse of our old one, and we've got a pretty decent number of trolls here. Like 3 trolls is actually quite a few. It's a bit difficult to deal with as the enemy. And one thing we're sort of saving up for here are these Nazgul and the Witch King, which are going to be very, very powerful. Okay, our orc pit is still not leveled up yet, so we are going to train another group of orc archers. We have plenty of population space left, which is not something you can actually increase at any point in this game, so it's whatever. But we are going to, one thing we are definitely going to do is we're going to use this bloodthirsty ability again to get veterancy on these orcs, because killing 2 full orc squads will actually get you veterancy on your units. Now, again, they have more archers, so we're going to have to deal with that. We might actually lose this group here. Yep, it looks like we're going to lose them because they refused to. They were retreating in a really weird pattern there. We're actually going to lose this troll as well. They are very, very hard countering our units and our strategy here, unfortunately for us, especially with fire arrows, are really just going to do a number on the trolls that we have. And it looks like they also have a hero unit, which is just very unfortunate for us, but we'll find a way to deal with this. We'll overcome. Don't worry. Mordor is arguably a late game faction, so Now, part of the problem here is that these two hero units are just definitely giving our units a lot of trouble, and we don't have fire arrows yet for our orc archers, and we would very much like to get those, simply because they just do so much for us. Now it looks like we have killed one of their heroes, and now the other task set before us is going to be killing this other hero, Boromir. I don't want to lose this troll, but it looks like he's going to get stun locked because Boromir can actually knock trolls over, which is pretty OP, honestly. Yeah, it looks like he can just stun lock him in place, which is just pretty ridiculous, honestly. Now, one thing about trolls that's interesting about their micro is normally if you just tell them to move somewhere, they have a very calm walk speed, but when it comes to like attacking, they move very, very quickly. And it looks like this troll is about halfway to veterancy, so we do definitely want to preserve him. We're going to pick up this ability from our PowerPoint tree called Industry, and we're going to use that to kind of upgrade our buildings here. Now, one thing we would very much like to do is get this expansion over here to give us some more resources so that we can get a little bit more of a bonus overall. And we need to keep continuing to build trolls and things of that nature. And normally I play better than this, but as is always the case, commenting while playing definitely takes a little bit more mental energy than normal. So, forgive me, bear with me, and we will get through this match, as it were. I'm doing a little bit of a risky play here. We are trying to take this expansion. Thankfully, the enemies at this expansion aren't too difficult to deal with. Just a couple of wargs. But it is going to be, it's going to be a little bit of time and a diversion. Now, one thing we definitely want to do is, let's see. Well, first of all, we're almost getting ready to get our banner upgrade done, which is going to be pretty important for us. And we're also going to train a drummer troll now because our mortar troll cage is level 2, which is going to allow us to build those drummer trolls and build them a little bit more quickly than before. Build a lumber camp here. Now, one thing about the trolls that I haven't mentioned yet is that they can actually pick up trees and use them as weapons permanently. However, this does come with a slight disadvantage because if you do this, then they can't eat orcs to heal anymore. I don't know why. It doesn't really make sense, but that's just a rule. Now, we would very much like to get the Witch King here. The Witch King provides a very powerful leadership bonus, and that would make it it would make it a lot easier for us to actually win this. Now, one thing that's really cool here is we've actually gotten one of our trolls to rank 2, and the most important thing here is that he starts self-healing, but also the actual most important thing is that he looks fucking badass with his battle armor. Now, these are 2004 graphics, I don't expect them to be like crazy good, but I think the art style is competent for what it is, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with it overall. I think the game looks pretty cool. There's a couple of cool idle animations, like for example, two trolls. If you have them stand next to each other, they'll actually fight each other over nothing, which is pretty fun in my opinion. And we don't really want to do anything at that northern base yet, but it is useful to have it because now we're going to start training the Witch King. Now our enemy hasn't attacked us in a while, and that is a little bit nerve-wracking. Because we have to worry about them building up their own forces, and it may be difficult for us to actually fight them. However, with this drummer troll, who provides a leadership bonus to nearby units, 50% more armor and damage, and a triple experience, is very, very powerful indeed. Alright, now it looks like they're trying to snipe my troll, but they don't have anything defending their archers, so we're just going to go ahead and send in our trolls here. But man, these rangers are doing a lot of damage. I'm really worried. I don't know what knocked down these troops here, but it is very unfortunate for us. I think it was Faramir here, this hero unit of theirs. We may unfortunately lose all of our trolls again, but that's okay. Now, as we can see, there's plenty of units, so we don't really want to engage there. Not quite yet. We want to kind of hold back a little bit, just wait a little longer, get ourselves into a better position. So first of all, we're going to lay down this tainted land. Then we're also going to throw up the Eye of Sauron, which is going to improve our unit damage and their experience gained. And we don't want to lose our Drummer Troll. We really don't want to lose our Drummer Troll because of the bonus he gives. And I think that our units are going to be able to overcome now. And our Witch King, of course, on his fell beast, as they're called, running around and doing a lot of damage. Now, we do have these two catapults, and we are certainly going to make use of them, but we're also going to build a couple of battering rams. It's sort of something we've been building up on the side since the match started to get ready to besiege the enemy castle, and that's important because that's something that's also kind of cool about this game, is one of the major differences between good and evil factions is that good factions get a castle, while the evil ones do not. They get more of a camp. And they're training just tons and tons and tons of archers. I mean, look at all these archers. This is just nuts. But thankfully, these leadership bonuses are making it possible for our orcs to actually cut through this sheer amount of these rangers, while the Witch King is certainly capable of taking a few hits himself. Now we've got a couple of new trolls. Normally trolls are a staple of my army, however they do require a lot of micromanagement, and one unfortunate thing about Gondor is that they are very, very effective at countering very powerful units because they have actually a lot of cheap units themselves. Now fortunately for us here, the catapult is able to out range their wall-mounted trebuchets, which are certainly a problem for besieging armies. As a matter of fact, they've actually killed the man on the trebuchet himself, or blown up the trebuchet itself, which is going to make it a lot easier to get into this situation. Now, we are going to keep merging these squads, and again, one reason I really like to merge squads is because it gives a 25% damage bonus to the archers and melee units in those squads. So just pretty important stuff there. Drummer Troll is still alive and well. Now, it is possible to rank up Drummer Trolls. It doesn't really do all that much, but it is just a nice thing. Now, we've got our battering rams up to the gate, and it looks like the gate is going to be down in no time. And one thing that's really cool about this is if you've seen the movies, it's very reminiscent of those, sort of epic siege moments. And whether you're defending from them or fighting them, it's just really cool to see them. Have our Nazgul use his Fell Beast to kind of scare off some of the enemies. And we're also going to use him to pick off the trebuchet on this tower here. Just very useful for us that he will kill it in one hit. And that's going to make it very easy for us to kind of plow into the base, start besieging it properly, and then eventually break it down to get a victory. Now, remember, this game did live in the shadow of Warcraft 3, and a lot of other RTS around this time period also lived in the shadow of Warcraft 3, which is basically an unfair comparison for any RTS of its time. Now, that being said, I'm not a Blizzard fanboy. I actually have a lot of mean things to say about Blizzard as a company and as a game maker. But Warcraft 3 really is like a definitive RTS that kind of doomed games like this in its era. But anyway, that's going to be victory for us here. As you can see, we have a now being Mordor, we don't expect our loss to destroyed ratio to be that great. We do, however, have a lot of collected resources, and overall that was an okay match. I think I did okay. I could have played a little bit better, but I was also giving commentary, which is just sort of the way things go. And that's going to give us 2 points of skirmish experience for what it's worth. Just kind of shows how long you've played more than anything else and how many wins you've managed to get. But at any rate, thank you for joining me. This has been the Battle for Middle-earth. And again, if you're interested in playing this game for yourself, be sure to look at the link in the description. It will take you to a video explaining everything and including a link on to the actual blog where the person who curated this game actually has it. And anyway, if you want to see more content like this in the future, be sure to subscribe and leave a like and a comment if you have your own fond memories of this game or if you are interested in trying it. And of course, be sure to consider supporting me on Patreon, because that really helps me know that like I'm doing a good job, and that it will help me continue to make more content in the future. Not to beg or anything, of course, but anyway, thank you for joining me, my fellow gamers, and I'll see you on the next one.